I have learned to appreciate the role that everyone has on a team.
Along the way, with help of friends and mentors, I found out about a career in user experience.
Algorithmic self-assembly or programmable matter, just kind of cool things like that.
I feel like I've become more familiar with how APIs work.
There's something that you know that other people don't. Likewise, there's stuff that other people know that you don't.
So in terms of managing my time, it was just doing anything and everything that I felt like I could do and that would help me grow.
The deadline is in like 2 months from now, so it's fine. Like, you can fix it now.
You have to trust that over time, you keep putting in the work, it'll get you there.
My name is Raul, and I am a student here. I'm a senior. I'm about to graduate in May 2022 with my degree in computer science, my bachelor's degree, and I currently have experience as an intern, a software engineer intern at MasterCard, which I did last summer, a year ago. And I've got a full-time job lined up as a software engineer for after I graduate. So my internship, which I got about a year ago, I applied to many jobs. I applied to easily, I would say, more than 30 by the time they got back to me. But throughout the season, I easily applied to over 100. So that was my approach, was to just keep at it, going on Indeed, going on LinkedIn. But where I really found the most success in my job hunt was attending conferences. Now, at the time, all these conferences were like virtual. So I went to, for example, the Tapia conference, SHIP, SHPE, and I basically got really good results at Tapia. I got a positive feedback from 3 companies who wanted to interview me, one of which was MasterCard. And so that's how I got in touch with them. And then I went through their process, which was basically just one round, 1 hour of talking with 3 software engineers. It was 2 senior software engineers and a director, or I think like a director, more like a manager, like a manager of software engineers. And this was kind of almost like a conversation. It wasn't too technical in nature. I was explaining some things about like things I learned in my computer science curriculum, things about sorting and searching, how does the stack work, what is time complexity. I was asked a couple questions about Java, things like how a class works, how object-oriented programming works, a couple things about SQL, whether I knew certain commands or not. And these were all things I just answered verbally, but I also had the chance to ask a lot of questions about like how the job would be, who would I work with, what did they like about the job. So that was really my process. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was too difficult, but that first initial hump when the school year started and I was searching for jobs, that was definitely hard. That first month or 2, I was just applying and doing like 10 jobs a day, sometimes more. I have learned to appreciate the role that everyone has on a team. I really thought that when I would go in as a software engineer intern, I would just code in isolation and not have to work with or worry about or collaborate with many people. I thought I would get a task and just get to it, but I learned that everyone has their role. In the team I worked with, there were software engineers of different levels, mid-level, senior level, a manager. There was a tech lead. There was an architect who designed the system. There was a business analyst who worked on business requirements. There was a product manager. There was a scrum master who made sure that everything went smoothly in our stand-up meetings. And so I gained a lot of appreciation because I tried to talk to each of them and learn what they do. And so I also got to learn like different career paths that I could explore. Now, as far as technical things, I learned quite a bit because I had a great mentor. So I also learned what it means to have a mentor who knows a lot more than you, who's been in your shoes. I was working a lot with this platform called Splunk, which is for DevOps, and it like processes large amounts of data. And anytime I had a question, I knew I could come to my mentor. I knew that it was the best thing to do was for me to try for a little bit, try like an hour or two, and then go to my mentor and tell him, this is what I tried, but I could sure use your help. And sometimes he would help me, and sometimes he would actually help me by referring me to documentation that previous employees had made. So again, it was a lot about appreciating the work that others before me had done. And I really felt like I was part of like this really awesome effort, and like everybody was on the same page. Everybody was being productive. We were all being really honest about where we were, about our skills, just trying to improve. I felt like it was a very healthy environment. My time management, the way I tackled college, well, I did 1 year at STC, community college. And I would say the curriculum was a little easier, so that kind of eased me into college life. I got to get to know what it means to study, to come home after college, after a day, and dedicate 3 hours to homework or something. I got into that habit. But concrete things I did, I got a planner. I just use a paper planner, and every day I write down, this is what I'm going to do for this day, and these are my due dates. And I need to prioritize everything. I always prioritize. If I have 10 things, I put number one priority, somewhere I can see, and I know I got to do it ASAP. I try to do big tasks a little bit every day. Do not put off your 8-hour homework to be done on the last day. That's the worst thing you can do. I was also very honest with teams when I was with group projects, because I was actually in a couple group projects, and unfortunately during college I had some personal crises related to my family, related to some health issues that I needed to take care of. And they were things that really caused me a lot of stress and a lot of worry. But I just told my group, and I told my professor, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. I could really use some time. I could really use some understanding, and don't feel like you're weak. You're actually strong for being honest and for trying your best and for caring to communicate, because you need to be transparent. So doing these things is probably what helped me. And of course, making time outside of school for things I enjoyed. Video games, anime, cooking. I would try and learn a new dish every week. Little things like that keep you from burning out. And just keeping the passion for learning. Because honestly, even though college comes with a lot of struggles and it feels like you're learning a lot of things that aren't too useful, I tell myself that learning for the sake of learning is fun. Just knowing that you're growing your knowledge is amazing. And so if I can keep that going, I can get through anything. Non-technical skills, I would say being transparent about where I'm at, where I'm progressing, and telling my mentors, being proactive about where I want to grow, how I want to grow in my role, and asking questions. So something I thought about a lot in my internship, I would see what my manager was doing and maybe what some senior technical contributors were doing, some software engineers. And it was clear that they were both doing different things, and they were both developing different skills. A manager might have to be more social and might have to make some harder decisions. And so I had a lot of respect for that. And maybe some software engineers had to be very analytical, but also take a step back and see okay, we need to estimate that these tasks are going to take the right amount of time. We need to make sure we don't overshoot, we don't undershoot, and we make good promises and we deliver. And so a lot of that is communication, estimating the work, being a good leader. I feel that's underrated, and that's what I want to aspire to, is to be a good leader. And I think being a good leader is about putting yourself on the line and sacrificing yourself for the good of your team. And I definitely got a lot of good examples in my life about that. Sure. So, after thinking about the importance of leadership, in my college experience, right now I'm currently the student lead or the president of Frontera Devs. I'm really happy to be with this club. When I joined, I had expectations that like they were blown out of the water. I feel like I've been such a good contributor and I've been around a team of really positive people. And being in an officer position gives you the chance to develop leadership because you can see firsthand how hard people are willing to work, how much they value the work you do, how to resolve tiny conflicts. Somebody wants to do this, somebody wants to do that. How are we going to settle it? Well, maybe we should just ask the students what are they interested in. Keep in touch with your audience. Things like that really made a difference for me because being in this club, man, it has like been the best thing ever. And then the other advice I would give is to work really hard on, surprisingly, your communication comes from writing and reading. I am a big advocate for reading a lot of books and reading a lot of technical things too. So be on the lookout for like technical blogs, technical news related to the field that you're interested in. See what the experts are saying, see what the casual people are saying, see what everybody's saying, and that way you're kind of in tune with your industry. Fortunately, I have a job lined up. After a pretty grueling job search, I did a lot of interviews and I put myself through tons of like hours of interviews. And I was able to get a job at Facebook or Meta, and I'm going to be working in Seattle full-time as a software engineer after I graduate. And I expect to like really like it. There's a lot of things I liked about it. I felt like the people who interviewed me took their jobs very seriously. They have like a really high degree of competence. They care a lot about getting a good job done, about working in like really efficient teams. And I'm so excited because like the scale of work they're doing is huge. And I feel like I'm going to be exposed to like such a high quality of like work. But what I would plan to do after that is I would like to explore whether I want to be like a software engineer who goes up that ladder and becomes very technical, or sort of like a manager of people and software engineers.